Welcome to the B&M Bake Podcast Holiday Edition. We're doing something a lot different this year. Last year we did a play, and it was god-awful. So this year, we're doing something a lot more entertaining for everybody to listen to. We're going to have a panel of all our guests from 2015 between now and next week. Mark will be hosting next week's show. Today's show is sponsored by Free Lunch Studios. freelunchcomics.com. Check them out. I'm going to read this real quick for Matt Ryan and Free Lunch Studios so everybody knows what they do and what you can check out. Check them out, freelunchcomics.com. They provide some of the best and most satisfying independent comics, graphic novels, and games around, as well as conduct lessons, workshops, and host special events. You can check them out at freelunchcomics.com. Matt Ryan will be on next week's show. He'll talk more about that, I'm sure, because he likes to talk about himself a lot. Anyway, we have a nice panel. We have a very diverse panel.
We're not that nice.
I know. So we have a very diverse panel on today's show. To my left, we have DC fanboy Wally Czyniak. Right? Did I say everything right?
Yeah, close enough. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Also to his left, the newest addition to the podcast, the man that only goes by one name, Rocky.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
What do you do with your hands? And to his left, the absentee host of our show, Jeremy Hammertoe Hutsell. I should have asked you if I could have said Hammertoe. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I did already.
It's okay.
And to his left, fellow podcaster from Enfield, Connecticut, one half of the Beanholes. He's one half of the hole, or bean, or whatever you want to call it.
I fill half of the bean hole.
He fills half of the bean hole. Eric Cormier, everybody.
Thank you.
And finally, the man that we finally let out of the D&D dungeon. We finally let him out. He hasn't been on the show since March. Hopefully in 2016, we're going to have more Dungeonetics. Bobby Kegler.
Oh, hi. Stop it.
And this will be the first ever video cast. So if you're listening to us on iTunes, you can watch us on YouTube. And if you're watching us on YouTube, just watch us on YouTube because we're there.
And if you're listening, you're missing out on some great visual puns.
Yes, there'll be a lot of visual stuff going on. Oh, God. By the end of this, we're all going to be naked, I think.
My hands.
Strip panels.
This is a strip panel. Every time we fill up a line, someone's going to take off some clothes. So we have a lot to talk about. We're going to start with Rocky in this one. Best comics of 2015. Now, in 2015, Marvel did Secret Wars. DC had their thing. What was their thing? Convergence. We had Marvel taking over Star Wars, which was amazing. As much as we hated that, it was awesome. I can't complain about it. We also had the death of Donatello. We had the death of Deadpool, in quotes, because he'll be back in February.
Right.
But we'll start with you, Rocky, since you read a lot of comics. What was the comic book that did it for you in 2015?
You know, this it kills me too, because there was not a lot good happening in comics in 2015. So, I mean, off the top of my head, Endgame was decent, because we got kind of a broader glimpse at the Joker. You know, where essentially the implication was that he was immortal. We have Batman potentially dying at the end of the story.
Yeah, he's coming back as the Appleseed robot.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, no, actually, it's spoiler alert, James Gordon.
It's James Gordon.
Right.
And Batman has amnesia, right?
Right, exactly, yeah. So, I mean, there wasn't really a lot good going on in comics this year, to tell you the truth. I mean, I chose Endgame just because it was the first one that popped in my head.
Yeah, it was good, though.
I mean, yeah, it was decent. I don't really like the direction that Scott Snyder's going in with Batman. I think it's like way too horror movie and less Batman. So I really hope that they do a reboot soon, like another Crisis.
They're supposed to be. Well, Marvel's starting back #1.
Right.
Again.
Because they got their Battle World, whatever.
Is DC getting rid of the New 52 or something?
They already did get rid of the New 52, and then they changed it to DCU, which is doing absolute shit right now. It's just it's terrible all around. So I hate to say it too, you know, but I mean, it's
I heard. Anybody else reading anything?
How long has the New 52 been around? And they're already.
It's
What was the
2 years?
game
I think it
Three-
lasted 2 or 3 years.
3 years, yeah.
3 years.
Yeah.
Was
I
that
think
their plan? to
2012 or
go
2013.
3 years with it? Or do you
No,
think
I think they just kind of.
They wanted to get rid of that 52 because they wanted to add more comics to the lineup.
Right.
And then the 52 would make no sense. So I heard it was just a promotion. Like, get rid of the 52.
Yep.
We'll still continue, but we're going to add more.
Right.
So I think they put themselves in a little hole by just saying 52, and then 2 years comes by and they're like, well, we want to
I feel like they should even like streamline. If they had like 26 that were actually awesome, they'd probably sell a lot more than having so many selections. But there have been some good ones in there. I mean, I was just saying before, Harley Quinn with Power Girl has been great.
Yeah.
The Batgirl that they rebooted was pretty awesome, and it's
A lot of people like the new Batgirl.
yeah, it's a lot more I don't know, mainstream in a way. So,
Yeah.
but
And Harley Quinn, too.
right.
Wait,
So-
we
boy.
got interrupted by.
Let's keep going.
What are you guys doing?
Eric doesn't have a microphone on.
We can edit this part out.
It was just farts the entire time. I don't even have to pay.
Excellent.
There you go. We're like, God, I can't hear Eric at all.
Oh man. This is like Sesame Street, where there's like people popping out of different.
We have our own Oscar the Grouch, ladies and gentlemen.
Do you have an extra script that we can follow along?
No,
this
I
is
don't.
great.
Sorry.
No.
All right, come on. We're fine. We got to get going
This
here.
is great.
We don't care.
I love this.
We're already 53 minutes in. We haven't
Just keep talking. It's not our fault.
Comics.
Okay.
53 minutes.
I blame
No, well, it's going backwards. So.
Yeah.
I did think of a great title while we were sitting here.
What?
The
Mike?
best title I've been reading is The Dark Side War in the Justice League book.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Because there's
Yeah.
massive Batman-Joker implications in that story. Because
Yeah.
Batman becomes a god. And
Oh,
he's the
yeah.
god
Yeah.
of knowledge, so he knows everything. And the first thing he asks, like the universal power, is what the Joker's secret identity is. But of course, the book didn't tell you. But
Right,
that's
right.
what it's
That's
leading
awesome.
up to. Yeah.
That's really cool. And what about Superman this year? Was it this year where Superman became
Lost
an
some-
alcoholic?
Well,
Or was that last year?
no. Well,
He
yeah,
lost his
because
power
he
and
lost
he
all his
got became
powers
an
because he had
alcoholic.
that supernova thing going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Which
haven't
is cool, like a
followed.
cool new power for him. And then after that, all his powers are drained, so he became like human.
First.
And now he just wears a T-shirt.
Yeah, and he has a beard, and
Yeah,
he's like
yeah,
he's
yeah.
like a
He used to
lumberjack.
drink beer and go, "What's the point? This didn't do anything." And then
Yeah.
he like tried one after he lost his powers. Like, oh my god!
I can get really drunk.
He must have looked
Yeah.
like Bender
Like,
in an episode of Futurama where he becomes human and he's just eating everything. I picture Superman without his powers.
Which one was it? Was it Superman 3 where Christopher Reeve was in a
Shoot-
bar
doing shots.
doing
Yeah, I
shots?
wasn't doing anything.
So, with Marvel and DC always rebooting, do you guys think it would be a good idea if Marvel and DC were like every year we're gonna start from one in January and give you a whole new story from January to December, and someone else can take over? Do you think that's more accessible to new audience? Because when I was a kid, you read a Spider-Man and it was like issue 400, and you're like, well, I'm just gonna read it, and hopefully you get into a beginning of a story arc.
Yep.
But 400 of something doesn't seem to exist anymore. Like, I feel like they're keeping it in this, like, you hit 50 and they go back to 1. Like,
Right.
I don't know, is that the world? Is that comic book world now? Like, keep it short and
what
simple?
happens in a year later in June when you have a comic book that's actually selling and people are really excited for it? Do you then go, well, we stuck by this rule, you got to stop, you keep it going, you know? And
Yeah.
I don't think a yearly reboot would be generally good. I think maybe having a month dedicated to bringing in new readers as, hey, here's the month to start in because we'll let you know what's going on more than any other issues. I think
Yeah.
maybe having filler comics or just free small comics that, hey, if you want to get into this book, here's what you should read that'll
That's a great
speed
idea.
you up.
Like a
honestly.
sampler, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
like
well,
a
no, just
sampler.
like Cliff Notes or crib sheets, because honestly, speaking as I don't really read comic books very much. I really don't have the time. But if there was something like that existed, where it was a listen, here's a free comic to get you up to speed it wouldn't be as intimidating. Because
Exactly.
Use
once
free-
you
use
read
free
most
comic
of
book
the
day.
catalog that there's no way I'm going to be able to blaze through. Keep up
Well,
with
most
the
story arcs are only like 6 issues anyway.
That's true.
So I mean, and a lot of it is tooled more for graphic novels, which are huge sellers now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
that's really
huge,
that's what
so-
I pick up, just knowing that I'm getting the complete story and I don't have to
Right.
go.
It's like 7 issues now, and they got it out.
Depends.
Depends
I
on
mean,
some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
Batman Eternal was just like forever, and especially
hence the
Year
name.
Zero too.
Yeah.
Batman
They
Eternal.
stuck to their
Forever.
namesake.
Yeah, yeah. So, but I don't know. I think maybe not a yearly reboot, but maybe every couple of years, you know. And I'm not really.
Marvel's doing that though. It seems like
Yeah.
they're already going back to issue 1, and they just did that last year, I believe.
I just wonder how much it boosts sales having a #1 on the cover, because there must be a reason behind it.
Yeah, yeah. True.
Ones do sell more.
Zeros
I
too,
bought
especially,
Static Shock
Yeah.
#1 when the new 52 was out, just because I liked the cartoons so much. And said,
Yeah.
oh, well, I might as well start reading.
Yeah.
I didn't like it too much, but just having the #1 there, I guess, was a...
Is our #1s flooding the market, not making it worth as like when you were a kid, you found a #1 of something, like this
my
could
God.
be worth something.
Yeah.
Now there's so many #1s.
Well, I mean, you gotta pretty much just throw out that idea, dude. Everything that we had as a kid that was gonna be worth something someday isn't. So, I mean, I don't even think that they teach kids about that kind of thing anymore. You know?
I think maybe the stuff we had as younger, or our parents, or worth something. I think the stuff coming out now, there's so much of it.
Right,
this
right.
probably is not going to be. It's like hot for a day. Like Harley Quinn #1, because she became so popular. That #1 was like $80 at a con I went to.
Right.
But then you go on eBay a week later, it's like selling for $25.
I would invest more into comics when they introduce characters, because then in
Yeah.
50 years, if that character becomes huge, you have the first appearance.
Yeah, like
And
that,
those.
Walking Dead is.
That flower guy in DC there.
Yeah, Walking Dead's very good with that, because if every time a character is introduced on the show that's from the comic, that comic goes through the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they had the last people introduced last season, I mean, that issue was huge. So that makes a good point, especially with TV and movies too.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
character, once the pulp culture grabs onto that character, yeah.
Yeah. You know the sad thing is too, man. In 2005, I had stock in Marvel.
You had stock in Marvel.
You sold it.
Yeah, I got rid of
Was
it
it
when I
penny
got rid of my
stock?
401k. Yeah.
I wonder how that would have transferred over to Disney.
Yeah.
I know, yeah, you would have been like,
Dude, you would have been set for
Free
life.
vacation.
I would have been set for life, but yeah. So
Rocky.
Rocky.
hey.
Rocky.
Yeah.
Let me just say, my grandmother bought stock for me in Disney in the 80s, like a
Yeah.
crazy amount, and I kept it. When everyone would complain about Hannah Montana or High School Musical, hey, I own stock in that stuff if they make money. And now with Marvel and Star Wars, it's like gold. You know, they sent you the plaque like, hey, congratulations, you have stock, and it's
Wow.
yeah.
It's worth $1 million.
Yeah,
plaque?
well, no, they send you a piece of paper and they give
Oh.
you, you can put it in a.
Well, that's not as cool.
So you still have the stock in that?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh man. Well, we're all going to your mansion
Yeah,
in
no.
20 years.
Yeah.
It's not mansion worth, but it's
No.
still.
Sell in 5 years, man. Just
Yeah,
sell in 5
yeah.
years and be good.
I don't know. I think Disney will be. It will
Wait
go
till wait
longer.
till the second Infinity Wars come out and then.
So Eric, we're gonna go with you next on this
Yes.
next topic. Best game of 2015. Now you had Batman: Arkham Knight, Fallout 4, Tomb Raider, Star Wars Battlefront, Halo 5.
How he
Those
gets
are
all
just
the
some of the
notes.
biggest games that came out this year.
how he
For
gets all
you,
the
what
notes.
was your biggest game?
For me personally, Batman Arkham Knight.
Yeah.
There's so
Yeah.
many different reasons. I thought the game, one, finally a game where I can put my middle finger up to the PC gamers out there.
Yes, they still haven't got it right for that.
And finally, just thank you. Like, please. I work in a video game store, and you know, it just gives me a little bit of a boost. Like, how's Batman Arkham Knight for you on the PC? And I just thought that
a little FU.
yeah, I you know, I had some complaints with the game of just the handling of certain characters. Deacon Blackfire was one where just at the end of the game, it's like a throwaway side mission. Like, here's a villain appearing for the first time in a Batman video game, I believe, and you know, it was just kind of a throwaway. But I just thought, absolutely loved the game. That's my personal favorite. What I would say is the game of the year, Fallout 4.
Yeah, I have to agree on Fallout 4.
Yeah.
Fallout 4 is amazing.
Just for a complete gaming experience, I cannot say $60 goes towards more than Fallout 4. So
the game is worth more. I would have paid $100 for that game.
yeah,
And if
It
you
is so good.
if you bought it for Xbox, they gave me Fallout 3 for free.
Yeah.
So you get 2 games for $60.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah.
But see, I was like, oh, Fallout 3. I'm like, but I just want to play Fallout 4. And then
I
if I
didn't
were to
play
play
it either.
3, I'd probably be like, this is just not as good. But, you know, no, that's awesome. Anybody else? What are your favorite? I know you played Batman Arkham.
Yeah, as much as I loved it, I'm with him. I think Fallout beats it. And I'm a
Yeah.
Batman nut.
I
but
played
Fallout's
Arkham
incredible.
2, and that was my game of the year up until I played Fallout 4.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Hutsell?
If I had Fallout 4, I would probably be killing it right now. Like, I probably would be like, no, sorry guys, I can't come and play Fallout 4.
Yeah.
But
What's the game you played that's...
the two games I probably played the most was probably Halo 5 and Elder Scrolls Online.
Yeah, you love Elder Scrolls Online.
I have to admit, it was kind of like a sleeper hit for me. I wasn't expecting too much, and then it just kind of like...
Devoured you?
Yeah, well, it's endless. Like, literally, the amount of like gameplay is just it's. Well, if anyone who's played Skyrim, it's basically the same thing. It's just it takes place.
And Fallout
in
4. It's the same
yeah,
people.
it's same
Yeah.
Zeta
people.
games, same.
They know to give you your
Combat
money's
engine.
worth.
Oh,
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I feel like I could literally play it forever, not find everything, and not be bored.
Yeah.
I think Fallout 4 is the game. If you were like, could you go on? If you have to go on an island, what game would you bring with you? It would be
Yeah.
Fallout 4 because you're just not going to run out of things to do.
See, I
That'd be the one
loved
game.
Skyrim, and I was like 79.6 hours into it, and I was nowhere near beating it, so I finally quit. I'm like, I'm not doing anything.
But the thing about Skyrim is that you could pick it up for, and this is how I play it. I'll play it for a week straight, like once or twice a year, and it doesn't make me feel as if because you know it's almost endless, that you don't like, I'm going to crank hours into this. Like,
Yeah.
I could quit my job and I'll never get any closer to finishing that game.
Like,
So
hanging out.
I feel like that
Speaking
kind
of-
of sucks the
You go first.
satisfying factor out of it, though. You know, like the whole point of a game is to beat it. You know, I mean, you don't want to beat it like too soon or anything like that. You don't want like what game?
I mean,
like
for
Call
a
of Duty, was
completist,
it?
yeah, that's definitely
Yeah,
a
you know, it's just-
downside.
But
for
you want to feel like there's a goal there for you. You know?
I get what you're saying, but that's where like certain side missions come in, where they're like with like big ones, and there
Yeah.
is an end game to the side mission where you get this really nice weapon. It does just, little by little, it gives you a little bit. But I do see what you're saying,
You're
and that's
chipping
why
away at it.
that other side of the coin, Batman for the completist side,
Yeah.
would win.
Everyone pissed on Destiny then.
I bought it, and I was super let down. I only got about an hour into it, and I'm like, nothing's happening.
Yeah, I gave up
Yeah.
on Destiny
I-
a long time ago.
I got
Great
I
game.
got a
Just-
love-hate relationship with it. The actual gameplay is absolutely amazing, but I just hate how like
They nickeled and dimed us.
well they nickeled and dimed us, and it's like I hate constantly feeling like I am shut out of in-game content because I don't have a dedicated community of people on my friends list that play the game religiously.
Ah.
And that was my biggest problem, their absolute refusal to add queues to some of like, you know, the most important content in the game. It's like, oh, well, we think you should go to these random, very seedy, fishy websites, get a bunch of people you don't
Dark
know
web.
to be your
You gotta
friend
go to
for
the
a
dark
day
web
so you
to
can
get Destiny players.
Yeah,
Wow.
that was the weird feeling
web.
about it. I'm like, really? And the messed up part is these are the people that like brought us some of the original like gaming queues, like Halo and like a lot of the gaming lobbies that you know are used today was created by these guys, and their absolute refusal to use it in like what could have been one of the biggest games ever is just ridiculous.
But it still kept an audience, and their audience is still pretty big. So they
it's
haven't lost.
it's cranking still.
It's still cranking.
and
up
you know,
there.
honestly, like I said, it's a hell of a lot of fun to play.
It is.
Yeah.
I'll
But
admit,
not as
it's the game that made me enjoy playing shooters again.
Yeah.
But as much fun as Fallout 4.
He hasn't played Fallout.
I don't know. I can't say.
I think the difference being an MMO and then a first-person experience, where Fallout 4 you don't have to worry about other people. It's just
You're a
you and the
loner.
game.
You're hanging out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
We should get a
You're in
dog.
Boston.
Yeah, I know. I saw your picture on
Yeah.
Facebook.
So
Whoa. Wait, actually, two things, or maybe even three things
Sure.
to add. One, did you hear about what happened where there's a guy who was playing Skyrim and his house got broken into? I don't know. It was something I read about. Basically, he got robbed blind, and when the cops showed up, they asked him, what were you doing? Why weren't you actually aware of what was going on? He says, well, it was on the computer, and the cop turned to him and said, Skyrim, right? Yeah, I know.
Oh man.
The same thing happened to me, and I'm a cop.
it's the same guy. Maybe it's the cop robbing everybody.
No, of course not.
I figured the first question would have been porn, right?
Yeah, that's
yeah.
what I would have been
Well,
going.
the funny thing, we didn't talk about this on the podcast, and I'll bring it up now since we mentioned it. Pornhub, when Fallout 4 came out, Pornhub put a graph out, and they dipped
Yeah,
when
that was-
Fallout 4 came out.
That was like
their
mainstream
graph-
news.
It dipped. Nobody was on Pornhub from midnight till 4 in the morning. It dipped between a certain age group, and then they said it spiked in the morning, and then after dinner time around 5, it dipped again when people got out of work.
I love how like CNN was covering that too. Like
Yes,
the,
it was made news.
the traffic of Pornhub is
Pornography.
that important of news.
Coming to CNN.
See, I never
Slow
knew.
news day.
I
Coming
never
on
knew
CNN.
Fallout was like
Oh.
a thing. Like I didn't know like it had a following, and this game looked cool from the trailer. So I went to buy it, and there was a line of like 10 people. Every one of them asked for Fallout 4, and I'm like, this is a game
It's
I've
my
never
first
played
Fallout
any
game,
in the
too.
series.
The,
yeah.
the hype really was astronomical because after it was announced, like Fallout 3 came out, big hit. New Vegas came out, pretty big hit. Fallout 4 is announced, and all of a sudden, all of these 12-year-olds are coming into the store. You got Fallout 3, Fallout, and I'm like, no, we're sold out right now. But where are you coming from? Like, where is the hype coming from? And
Yeah, it truly, the hype did come up with that trailer, and they did it smart, coming out in 6 months. Most trailers come out for a game, it's like a year, and the hype dies down. I think
Yeah.
they did it right.
or
They
those
did it
games
right.
with false promises and stuff. And
Speaking of, that's a good segue. If you're done with your comments,
There's only 2 games I want to mention, which I absolutely positively love. I love Super
What?
Mario Maker, and there's nothing you can actually
Yeah.
say that can break that up. That is an amazing game.
It really
I heard it was an
That's
amazing game.
Every
Great game.
single kid that grew up on Nintendo
Yeah.
wanted to make their own level. Now you can make your own level, put it up online, anyone can download it.
It's awesome.
And
That's
and
awesome.
They have 100 Mario Man runs where it's 16 of the hardest levels, and you have speedrunners who are versed in video games.
Oh, Jesus.
Actually going like, okay, guys, chat, which room to go to? The Japanese make the most trolliest levels in the world, where there's like 3 doors. You go through one, you're dead. You go through the second door, you're dead. You go through the third, you're dead. You're like, I don't know what
the
to
hell
do.
do you do?
There's a coin that you have to hit, which goes to a vine, which goes to a thing. Now there's 5 more doors.
oh my god.
that was the game I went to my girlfriend
The
and
best
said,
game!
"Hey, do you want to go buy Mario Maker? Oh, what's that? You get to make your own Mario levels." And she looked at me and goes, "Why are we not in the store right now?"
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
Don't even ask.
it's the thing I'm asking Santa for.
Ooh,
Oh.
maybe.
Santa.
I'm watching. I'm
I
watching.
actually heard that they had a YouTube video with the voice actor for Mario making levels
Yes.
in Mario.
Yeah.
Yes, they
Yeah.
do on YouTube.
And he's like commentating it and everything.
Anyway,
Can I guess your other game? I got to say, a year later, Super Smash Brothers for the Wii U, still a strong contender. And then
Yeah.
announcing Cloud from
That was
Final
big.
Fantasy VII.
oh my god.
I mean, way to shut the internet up for a second.
That was,
Yeah.
you know, if they have Cloud, that means they could have any character, really. I mean, that's pretty cool. I mean, to have a Square Enix
Kate Sith,
character.
you know.
I'll make a prediction. I do believe the Final Fantasy VII remake will be on Nintendo's next console, the NX. There
The
seems
NX.
to be the mending of the relationship they used to have. They lost to Sony.
Yeah.
And,
I
it's
hope
cool.
the NX for Nintendo's sake is good. They said it's going to be on par with the new gen systems, which I hope they're telling the
Yeah,
truth.
you have 2 years. You better come out with at least a little bit more powerful of a system.
Yeah, than
You know,
the
but
Wii U. the
Nintendo
Wii
beats
Plus.
their own drum, and I don't think that's ever hurt them. So
No, they have a
few
following.
times, but-
They have a following, and that's all they really care about. And good for them. Did you have another game, Bobby?
There's
Third
one
game.
other game, but there's no way you're going to be able to guess it.
Well, just tell us it.
Okay, on
So we
Twitch,
want to guess.
on Twitch they had a tournament for this up and coming startup game called H1Z1. Now it's a zombie type survival game
Yes.
where you can basically do like a survival setting, or they have like a battle royale where
Really?
you have 130 people. They parachute into a town. And it's just like backyards. They have cityscapes. They have rural camper areas.
That's awesome.
You get guns, bows, and here's the gas comes in. And the space gets smaller, and smaller, and smaller, and smaller, and smaller. And pretty soon you have like 10 people in a city, like hiding out in apartment buildings, going floor to floor, trying to find each other. There's vehicles. There's this. It's amazing.
That's awesome.
And they had a $50,000 tournament for the winner.
Wow.
great game.
And did you win it? Just kidding.
No, but there was a guy called Grims that did. There's a couple different people that stream about it. It's worth a watch.
That game originally was going to be put out by Sony, but their online company got bought out. So whoever owns it now, it was supposed to be free to play. I'm assuming it's free to play right now.
It is actually. The beta is, I believe, free to play, but if there's certain, it's worth it. They have it so if you want special outfits or want to look elite, you can unlock
Yeah.
certain things with the whole crate and key kind of setup that Counter-Strike did. But
So, those are our favorite games. Do we need to talk about what was the game that disappointed you at
Yeah,
all? Anybody have one of those?
I have one.
What?
Star Wars Battlefront.
Tell us. I want to. This is controversial.
There was no campaign mode.
See, that's what I
fired.
said. See.
Who releases a game without a campaign mode? One. And two, I'm not an online gamer.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
if you don't play it online,
You really can't do anything.
then there's only 4 maps in the entire game.
They got the new map. All the maps are coming out for free for the most part. The new Star Wars Force Awakens map's coming out for
Oh,
free.
okay.
But-
But still, it was a very shallow
That's
experience.
why I didn't buy it. I think I'll wait for a sale because I like campaign too. I'd rather play not multiplayer.
Yeah.
How was the couch co-op? You try that?
Yeah, we did, and like it's fun, but like I
boring
said, there's
after a
4 or
while.
5 maps. So once you play them all, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
I
that's-
know.
There's
Yeah.
only 6 characters too to use when you get the actual
power-ups.
power-ups.
Yeah.
You know, Luke, Leia, Han, and then Darth, Boba, and the Emperor.
And the
That's-
Emperor, yeah.
And now the old Battlefront games, even the first one, there was a huge more of an assortment of characters to use. So that was really disappointing. But the game, though, I gotta say, one of the most gorgeous games of the year.
Oh, I played the beta as a
Got the
beautiful
look
game.
of the
Yeah.
Star Wars film
The snow,
down.
just the guys walking in the snow.
No, visually, it was
Yeah.
very impressive. I
Yeah.
thought.
Yeah.
It needs some work. I don't feel like it was complete.
I think it's EA. I think this game's going to grow. I think by next year it's going to be like Destiny. It's going to be a different game. They're going to add so much new content to it, hopefully for free, because they said no microtransactions. So I think that game is going to grow with the movie coming out and everything. But I don't. For
They-
people who like campaign like you and me, it's
They
kind
need
of
to they need to copy Nintendo with the Splatoon model, where the game came out, there wasn't that much, but every month Nintendo would give out free updates. Hey, here's 2 free maps, 10 free weapons, and a bunch of extra stuff. Like, they need to follow that to get people. You're going to release a game not fully complete.
yeah.
Give some stuff out, you know?
I
People
agree.
paid good
Like
money
we
for
were
that.
saying with Fallout, though, the Star Wars Battlefront was this hype machine. You would see
Yeah.
commercials for it like twice an hour. It was the biggest thing.
That's the guy
then-
was looking at the R2D2.
Oh, the
and
feels.
The feel.
Yeah.
I know you're like, oh man, I'm gonna cry. I really want to buy it, and then I'm like, I'm not gonna buy this game.
Yeah.
Like I really wanted to buy it because of that commercial. They did a great job.
Right.
They honestly did a good job. Anybody else game
Yeah.
fell a little flat for them?
The one game this year I was rooting for, and I talked so much about, and it came out, and it's a good but not $60 good. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5.
Me and you had a discussion about that. I agree.
I wanted to shut. I'm tired of hearing about Skate and all these kids. You know, if Skate was that big of a game, the company wouldn't have closed down. Skate 3 didn't sell, and now all of a sudden, because of online people, you know, Twitch, it's a popular game. All of a sudden, Skate
Yeah.
3 is popular. I really wanted that Tony Hawk underground feeling inside to push back. Like, this is the original skate. This is the skateboarding game, and it tried, but it just was not $60 worth.
Dude, I
of-
saw the graphics in that. They were just
So
horrid.
now that game, I think the company was told to get this game out on time because what happened was when people bought the disc, if you didn't have your system hooked up to online to get the day one patch, the game wouldn't play. The patch was bigger than the game itself.
Yeah.
So I feel the patch was almost the game. And what the hell was on the disc, nobody knows. And they just
key.
released a 7 gig patch for it, which is huge because the game itself wasn't that big. So I really feel they're really trying to make good. I hope for Tony Hawk's sake it does good. I think it's like Battlefront. It's going to grow over time.
Well, it started out looking like realistic graphics, and when people trashed it, they just went to a cartoony-looking feel
Yeah.
just to kind of cover over.
Yeah.
But it's weird as a Tony Hawk player. For me, Tony Hawk as a series peaked at Underground 2. From the character roster to the mechanics to the combos and everything, it just went a little bit downhill with American Wasteland and then just kept getting worse with each installment. And they went on a hiatus. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that.
And the Wii board was a failure.
Let's not talk about it. And then Pro Skater HD came out, which was cool because it was a $15 game. Hey, here's Tony
The
Hawk's
original.
1 and 2. Here's
Yeah.
the originals. And then here comes 5, $60. Oh man, when I first heard that announced, couldn't think of another game that I was rooting for that I was expecting. Like, this is probably going to fail, but I really hope it's good.
Yeah.
And it just fell flat in its face
Yeah.
off of a skateboard. And I do hope it really doesn't kill the franchise, but I want
Or
them
the
to do
studio.
better. Yeah, I want them to bring back those old Neversoft guys who got the shit end of the stick being sent over to Call of Duty to make maps and now closed.
And you could do Spider-Man, Barney. You can just like skateboard.
Freddy
all these
Krueger,
cool.
yeah, yeah.
Their
Freddy
secret
Krueger, all these
character
cool
was
characters.
Little Wayne.
Yeah.
And
You
Little-
don't go
he's
from
not a skater.
Spider-Man to Iron Man to Gene
He's a
Simmons.
skater.
Little Wayne.
Little Wayne's a
And
skater.
I feel they were trying to get people to buy that game because they were on Conan O'Brien,
No one's seen
and it wasn't that funny either. When they did Coolest Gamer with it, it looked buggy when they were playing at Coolest Gamer, and I'm like, this
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
look good at all.
Yeah, they added a cool new mechanic, the slap down. I played it, but once again, it's just not worth $60. I'll wait till it's about 30, then I'll probably pick it up. But
Fair enough. Anybody else? No. All right. Well, we're moving on.
all right,
All right, Rocky, we're going to you.
Oh.
So in 2015, we had two gigantic cliffhangers. I know this is gonna be a tough topic because only some people watch The Walking Dead and some people watch Game of Thrones. So
Right.
no wrong answers here, but both of these shows are considerably the biggest shows on TV right now, the most talked about TV shows online and at the water cooler. If you hang out around a water cooler, I don't know.
I don't know who does.
So you had Jon Snow, who
Yep.
potentially died. Spoilers.
Hey,
I ruined it for
if-
people on Facebook, and I'm ruining it for people right now. Jon Snow dies, maybe.
You didn't ruin for anyone. These people should have been reading.
Yeah.
Anyway,
And
next.
so now the fact
true.
is that everybody who read the book says, well, he comes back in this season, someone brings him back. HBO
Well,
put
it
a
never happens
poster-
in the book.
It happens in the book.
It doesn't happen in the book.
What doesn't happen in the book?
He
Jon Snow
doesn't. He doesn't come back. The book ends with Jon Snow being stabbed.
I
Yeah,
thought
isn't-
Jon Snow comes back.
aren't
No.
they at the point where they're past the books and now they're just going
Yeah.
off on their own?
Now they're going off
They're
on their
getting
own.
approvals
Okay,
by.
Jon Snow comes back
I
by-
can shed a little light on this. At the end of the last book that's currently up to spec,
Right.
he did die. He has another book slated to come out, and the author, when interviewed, asked why he killed off Jon Snow. He just smiled and said, "Oh, you think he's dead?"
Why was everybody saying in the books? he
Well,
comes
in the
back?
books. Well, in the books,
It hasn't come out.
he says the name
The
of
plot
his
thickens.
his name of his dire wolf. He says, what's his name? Ghost. And so they think that he's gonna warg into his dire wolf, and then he's gonna come back. But he hasn't come back in the books yet either. So we're still waiting for the Winds of Winter, and that's why everybody's waiting for Winds of Winter.
So, and HBO ruined, I mean, everybody was speculating, but I think HBO took the fun out of it by putting his picture on the poster.
Not necessarily, because
You don't think so?
you could still. He doesn't look alive in the poster. It could just be Jon Snow, and like this is the effects of what happened after Jon Snow.
I don't know.
It's a snuff poster.
It's a
You know,
stuff poster.
Yeah,
It's just
you
his
know,
dead
so-
body.
Ooh.
But
So-
everybody, I mean, they saw him like going to the filming locations, all that stuff.
Yeah, and the
I mean,
hair. He never got the haircut.
Yeah, exactly. And
So that
and
was a
all
big
so,
giveaway.
Yep.
And then, Walking Dead decided to do something different, and I think it was awesome. Episode 2 of this season, Glenn could have died. He gets trapped underneath the body.
Right.
There's a dumpster. The body gets ripped apart. That's the last time you see him. And then you have to wait almost 4 episodes to find out if Glenn died or not. Now, we
Right.
just found out that Glenn didn't die, which was actually really awesome. I thought it was very well done to do something in the middle of the season, not give you such a, Game of Thrones. But what do you guys think?
Well,
Who did it better? What do you guys...
That happens in Game of Thrones too, though. I mean, there's stuff that like, they'll have a big war episode where it's just the whole episode is just one big battle, and you're still waiting to find out what happened here, but it wasn't happened to the end of it. But
I don't watch Game of
what-
Thrones, so I don't know.
What Game of Thrones does better, I think, than The Walking Dead is they have their big episode number 9. The episode 9 is always their biggest episode,
Yeah.
and then episode 10 is like a resolution.
Interesting.
So you have it build up to episode 9, that big thing happens, and you have a resolution, but you still want to see what happens next. But with Walking Dead, they kind of just do a bunch of stuff, and then they're like, well, we'll just end it right here, and then you got to wait till next season.
But,
Yeah.
but this time around,
This time
do
around,
something in
yeah,
the middle of the season.
right. This time around is a little different, but they still had their big episode 9, and then it just
Yeah.
happened to end with Jon Snow being stabbed. So, Walking Dead does more of the traditional cliffhanger, where you just have to wait
Yeah.
until next time. But Walking
Well, I
Game
think-
of Thrones is more like
See, I feel like Game of Thrones did the traditional, this one, with Jon Snow at
Right,
the season
this
finale. And then Walking Dead was just like, well, we're not going to do traditional. We're going to make you guys wait 4 episodes. And
Yeah.
it was kind of cool because the conversation online and everybody was talking about, I've never
right, and then they took
heard-
his name out of the credits at the
Yes,
beginning
I mean,
of the show.
how
and everything,
smart
yeah.
is that? They took the names out of his credits and people were speculating.
Well, if you
and
don't
I
have a
think that was really
payoff at
cool.
the end of your season, then what's going to keep people
Right.
hooked? I
Yeah.
think I'll give the lean to Game of Thrones a little bit, beyond the fact that they have way more tits than on Walking Dead.
That just
Um,
right there.
I just
and
think-
more penises.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A lot of wieners.
A lot of wieners.
A lot of wieners.
Equal
Wieners.
opportunity.
Wiener.
As much as people will say it's the traditional, I just think that's how you get people hooked. Is that you do something huge at the end of the season, and you get people talking and speculating and all these conversations. Whereas Walking Dead, yeah, but in between those 4 episodes, people were talking. But now that the payoff is there, all right, what are people talking about now? Like that's
Let's talk about Jon Snow now.
yeah. Now we're
yeah.
back talking about Jon Snow. So I think it's cool. But if they don't have something as big for the end of the season, then
Well, I mean, let's just admit that Game of Thrones is a much better written show.
Well,
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it's also
That's
important.
fine.
let's just say,
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, but,
Well-
two words, one name, Peter Dinklage,
yeah,
right there, winner.
winner.
Well, I
Or
think-
winner chicken dinner.
I think it's
Absolutely.
also important to point out, though, that these 2 shows have 2 very different styles to them. I mean,
Yeah.
Walking Dead
Is
they-
shit. and
Well,
Game of Thrones is great.
they
No, I
have
wouldn't.
more of a linear storyline, whereas Game of Thrones has a bunch of different storylines happening in different parts of the world that happen to sometimes converge on top
Well,
of
And
one another.
I
immersive
think-
characters that you can actually get behind a little bit
Well,
more. This
what
is
I-
Yeah, but
Walking
that's also
Dead.
the difference
I
between
like Walking Dead
cable
way more.
and pay
I
TV.
watched
I
one
like
episode
Walking
of
Dead because I
Game
was
of Thrones,
tired
I
of
can't get into it.
I was
Well,
tired of every
Game-
zombie movie going, this is what happens right when the outbreak goes on,
Yeah.
whereas Walking Dead is continuing the story of this is what happens post and
Which is like Fallout 4.
yeah, Fallout and then things like Zombieland, but this goes way more into society. I do like
think
The Walking Dead for
Fear
that.
of the Walking Dead for me was even better because it gave us that before, and that before is a lot of interesting
But
stuff.
that show
happens.
was just terrible too.
You
Well,
like
let's just
Fear of the
admit that Game of Thrones does zombies better than Walking Dead does too. You know?
I don't
Like,
think they're considered
the White Walk-
zombies.
yeah, the
The
White
White
Walkers,
Walkers
of
are
course
pretty
they are.
awesome.
They're
All right.
reanimated dead bodies, man.
Well,
They're zombies.
okay, but see what we're doing right now. Here, my question about this is, do we think that binge watching has ruined this conversation?
Yes.
I honestly believe
Yeah.
Daredevil, Jessica Jones, all these great shows, they come out in a weekend. People are like, yep, watched it. And I'm like, I haven't seen. Like,
Yeah,
who
I
can
can see
you
that.
talk to about it? I think what makes the show more interesting is the conversations you have with people.
Every week.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I kind of feel like binge watching, it's just not the way to watch a show, and I just can't. It's hard
I
for me
binge
to do
watched
it.
Lost right when the last season was out.
Yeah.
We can have
Same
this
thing.
conversation.
I think that show was amazing, and I think looking back, it would have been so much better following from the first episode
Yeah.
and being there and waiting the
I
time in
watched-
between seasons. And then when you binge watch it, it's like
Yeah, that's
done.
true.
I
All right?
know. I binge watched Breaking Bad seasons 1 through 4, and then I watched the final season, and yeah, exactly. That show, I loved it so much. It's one of my favorite shows of all time.
It is.
That and Lost, and honestly, Lost I went through and I was like glued to the screen. Like people like Game of Thrones, but it's like Daredevil and all these great shows that come out, but there's no conversation. So the shows don't seem that personal anymore. You're not taking like personal
Are you
investing
saying
in
that
show.
you've lost the thing that you can talk at the water cooler about?
Yeah.
You've lost that.
With
that
binge watching, I
Monday
kinda
I
morning-
just
think
hate
so.
the idea
Yeah,
that the
I can see
thought
that.
that Netflix can't just release a new episode
A week.
every week.
That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, they should.
You know, Hulu does it totally fine.
Yeah.
Uploading their shows, when they're
So
supposed
are you
to.
guys? What do you guys think? Binge watching's
Well, binge
kinda-
watching is great when I started
shows.
watching Game of Thrones halfway through the second season. Episode 4 of the second season was the first one I saw, and I was like, "What is this show? The show is awesome." So then I went and I downloaded everything and binge watched it.
See, in that
That's-
case, I agree.
Right.
Well,
And-
I'm talking about when they release a brand new show
Exactly,
over the
that's-
weekend,
yeah,
and the
it's-
conversation just goes, "That show was great." But
You're
there
never
was
at
no
the, you're
time.
never at the
Arrested
same you're never at the
Development
same
did that
spot with
too.
somebody else though.
Yeah.
It's like I've watched all of Daredevil and you're only still on episode 4, so you're
Yeah.
like, let's not talk about it until I've watched the whole thing like you.
Yeah, exactly.
I actually, when Daredevil was out, I haven't finished it, but I made sure that I'm just watching an episode a week. I'm just going to go through it, let things sink, sit. I can remember stuff better.
Yeah.
God bless you for your self-control, man.
I'll be honest. I had the same intention setting out, and I failed epically. I'm like, nope, watching it all right now.
Breaking Bad, I had to watch after the show was over and binge watch that, and it made me cry because I'm like, I'm post fandom on this. I can't. I'm the new guy coming in. Like people are.
Yeah, that show. I mean, was an emotional roller coaster. But no, it's like, yeah, you watch it and you don't take it all in. Sometimes you're like, yeah, that happened. Oh yeah, that happened. I have no idea when that happened, and it all becomes a mush, you know.
Yeah.
But
I did binge watch Game of Thrones, and when the Red Wedding happened, like I had to stop. Like,
Well, yeah, I mean, that's
no,
just...
because, well, I mean, so yeah, it gives you pauses. You
for
have
sure.
to take that in.
Yeah, because, I mean, I was like, oh my God, is that Coldplay? And I was like, I have to stop right now. I just can't. I can't go any further. That's the guy from Coldplay. I was just...
But see, Game of Thrones
I
and
was
shows
crying.
can get away with that. I'm saying when you binge watch a show, I feel like these shows don't have those pivotal moments where everybody can talk about it because it just happens so quickly.
I think
Yeah.
some
Different.
shows you can definitely do it with. Some shows probably not. I think Daredevil probably would have been better if it was episodic release as opposed to one shot. Game
Yeah.
of Thrones, I think it's good that you can binge watch that because there's a lot of like cloak and dagger and intrigue in between each episode, and some people that really just loses them. So being able to go back and catch up and
Yeah.
because I mean that's the problem with that show. There's a lot of little things that you can miss, and if you can't go back and look at it, someone starts talking about it, like, what? Did we watch the same thing?
But
Yeah.
Daredevil, even if I'm only 2 episodes in, but other people have watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
There's still moments like the hallway fight scene that everyone on the
Yeah,
planet talks
yeah,
about
yeah.
because it was that huge. It was
Oh,
that
yeah.
big,
Right,
you
Yeah,
know?
I watched Prison Break from episode 1 until the finale weekly, through the seasons and stuff. I remember more of that than when I binge watched Lost.
Yeah,
And
'cause after a
Lost
while you kind of
has
just
a lot
get
more, but there's just certain characters
to
that
it.
I'm like, oh yeah, what was that character's name? Oh yeah, that. And then Prison Break, I'm like, I remember that character, I remember that situation, and I just think because you have that week and then those months in between seasons, it just is able to sink in more than when you just watch it in one day. I'll wait next year till the next day season comes out.
Plus, you watch them over and over again, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I've watched the last season of Game of Thrones like about 4 times so far, so I'm like, I'm going to be doing it until it comes out in April again, so.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yep.
All right, Wally.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
So,
man.
yeah,
Yeah,
man.
man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. All right.
Yummy, yummy,
We're
yummy,
going
yummy,
on
yummy.
best movie of 2015. I know before we did the show today, it was a head scratcher. A lot of people were like, what the frick did I watch? Like,
Yep.
I honestly couldn't remember all the movies I watched because I didn't watch many.
And we're old now, so yeah.
I had to go back
Star
to
Wars,
Wikipedia.
the time
Look
of
through.
recording this, Star Wars has not, we've not seen Star Wars. We know this is out on Christmas week. We're recording that pre-Star Wars. So Star Wars will not be in this. I'm sorry, because none of us has seen it. But you have Age of Ultron, Jurassic World, Ant-Man. What was your movie? Maybe a movie that was under the radar. It didn't have to be a big movie. Could have been a Lifetime movie. I don't know. Could have
Not without my daughter.
not without my dog. It could have been that Will Ferrell Lifetime movie, which was awesome. I forget the name of it though. Will Ferrell and
Brian's a big
Kristen Wiig.
fan. I just-
Kristen Wiig. They
Yeah.
did a I was around like March. It was really good.
Just because they've always wanted to do one. I thought
Yeah.
it was so funny. Like,
It was awesome.
I did. I was very excited to see a live action Ninja Turtles on the big screen, but
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
kind of a letdown.
Yeah.
Kind of.
But seeing the turtles, I think the turtles were perfect. The rest of the movie was just
were
horrible.
garbage.
Yeah.
But
They were a little big.
yeah, they were huge. Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
flashy.
So
How
I
do
got to
they
go
do
with.
those ninja moves. They were such big guys, but then they like to go out and they just do.
wait, when was there ever like a law that a mutated turtle had to be a certain size?
Well, I mean, the cartoon.
In the comics and
you know,
cartoon, they were
yeah,
like
yeah.
this. They're like 3 or 4 feet tall.
All I gotta say
Yeah.
is I appreciate that movie because it's giving us Bebop and Rocksteady on the big screen.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Baxter
That's
fair.
Stockman being played by Tyler Perry. Great casting. Like,
Yeah.
I'm excited
Wow.
for the sequel.
Yeah, Tyler Perry was good in Gone Girl.
Gone Girl was a
That was
great
it.
movie.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But I got to go with Mad Max.
Yeah.
Movie of the year.
That's
Yeah.
me too right now.
Yeah.
Mad Max is mine.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah,
Practical
it was-
effects, a lot of practical effects, green screen, but the movie was just amazing.
Yeah, it was
And I
so
don't
epic.
remember a lot of slow parts. Maybe
No.
1 or 2 in the
Yeah.
entire movie.
When,
you know?
when they're going through the dry land where there once was food. It had
Right.
those weird people on stilts.
stilts, yeah.
Yeah, that was the slowest part of the whole film, and then it was just action nonstop.
You know, even though that was probably one of the only slow parts, I liked the visuals that
God.
offered. It was very interesting. It was a nice contrast because you went from the desert where everything's like bright and burnt to like this
the
dark
dust with the blues.
It's the
Like
same guy that
Dave
directed
Mosh.
Babe too. I mean,
Yes. George Miller.
How was the video game for that?
Not bad.
I didn't play it.
I heard
Not
it was
bad.
good.
I picked it up.
not
I
bad.
haven't played it
Online,
yet.
was
Yeah.
pretty good.
Pretty good.
It's Mad Max, though.
Was it open world, like a Grand Theft Auto?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
open
yeah.
world,
Yeah.
and it's like Fallout,
You
but
get to
cars.
build your own car.
Oh.
It's
And
like
you get
kind
to
of
build
like
your own
Twisted
car.
Metal a little
Yeah.
bit too.
Yeah.
You get to customize your car.
I will say that's what I don't like about Fallout is there's no cars.
Yeah,
You have
every
to
time you
walk
see a car,
everywhere.
you want to hop in and drive
Yeah.
it, and you can't. They don't have gas, I guess.
There's jetpacks.
They should have
though.
taken a cue from
I
Mad
forget
Max.
Yeah.
Fallout. You think somebody would have been building crazy cars?
Right, you're right. Anybody else for favorite movie this year? Who?
I'm just gonna second Mad Max.
Wow, Mad Max 3.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was definitely a lot better than 3 Days of Ultron.
3 Days of Ultron. 3 Days of Ultron.
I don't know. I didn't see Ant-Man and I didn't see Jurassic World. I think if I had seen Jurassic World, that might impact my choice a little bit. But
Jurassic World was good.
Oh,
Jurassic
you
World was
are
a good
filthy
remake.
liar.
Hold on,
of
you don't let me
Jurassic
finish.
Park.
Jurassic World was good
Flips
visually,
the table.
but it was the same plot from the first movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, but
Yeah,
you
but
know,
what is that ever a bad
sometimes
thing?
though,
But
if it's not
visually,
broke,
it was
you
an
don't gotta
amazing
fix
movie,
you
dude.
know?
It was. I mean, seeing an IMAX was really cool.
Jurassic
It was
Park
Look, here's
was-
the thing.
Okay, let me. I'm gonna take this movie. I'm gonna put it our most expensive, amazing viewing. Yeah, of course it looked amazing in IMAX.
Yeah.
The movie was shit.
Yeah,
No,
it was.
Jurassic
it's not
World.
well
I
written
own
or
2
nothing.
copies on VHS, a shirt, the button, and my wife is a big fan of dinosaurs. Anyway, the point here is it was terrible.
I
I gotta-
didn't like it except for the last 15 minutes.
I gotta feel where your
The last
radar
15
is,
minutes were
because
great.
where do you put Lost World and 3 and all
Okay.
this?
Oh,
If
God.
World is shit,
Yeah.
Because here's the
Okay,
thing.
okay.
Being a Jurassic
Sorry.
Park fan, let me
Below
see.
shit.
Jurassic Park versus this new one. Go. Merit
Jurassic,
flaws.
Jurassic World is second for me.
Me too.
Okay,
Yeah.
I absolutely
In the entire
being in the
scope?
theater. Yeah, and when you put all 4 movies on the table, I'm gonna have to say I would always watch the first one first. I watched Jurassic World second because and it got that nostalgic feel out of me. Going up to those doors again, hearing the music cues, seeing the park that you never got to see open and fulfilled by John Hammond actually open.
I agree with that. That's what I
And
liked
here's the
about
thing:
it. I
the
like the
villain,
nostalgia factor.
the dinosaur. I know they can do whatever they want and have fun with this dinosaur. That scene where it actually was just killing the brontosauruses, and they go, it's just killing for game.
Was the most heavy-handed.
Oh yeah,
it
absolutely.
got me too.
I mean,
It
that whole
just
scene
said,
where they had the dinosaur that jumped out of the water, I was like, I wonder if that's gonna come up at the end.
that woman, the woman going through. I
Weird.
never feared pterodactyls until that woman was killed.
Oh yeah.
And let me
That
say,
was a
I'm
good
sorry,
scene. I thought
Raptor.
that was a good scene.
Raptor on the back of a T-Rex during the fight. It was a dino fight, and it was the
And-
best dino fight in the series.
And we got to see the old T-Rex come back and kick some ass.
Yeah, even though
Best
yeah.
dino fight in the series. I'm just
Yeah.
saying you can't argue with that.
I know.
The
You know, I
nostalgia.
agree
No,
with Eric
I
on all
will
those
argue with
points.
that because I like watching Velociraptors tear apart a T-Rex right in the middle of this big little
It was
thing
so
where, it says,
short, though.
where dinosaurs rule the earth.
I love that. I love the end of that movie, but that fight scene is so short. It's like 2 minutes, whereas this one,
It was nice.
There was
yeah, but I mean,
actual.
for the time it came out, though, man. I mean, that's a
Look,
long.
no one's
that was
arguing.
a long scene.
No one's
for-
going to
for
argue
their-
Jurassic World is
Beautiful.
better than Jurassic Park.
The
But
movie-
Jurassic
so
World
Vincent
for the
D'Onofrio was
series
like
sake.
the worst villain ever. I mean, it was just terrible. It was just wicked heavy-handed.
Yeah, it was.
he was
Adding,
a great actor, but
It was adding a B
And then-
plot that didn't need to be there.
And then Star-Lord being forcing this relationship with this chick was just like so.
If
not
they never
necessary at
knew
all.
each other, I would have hated it. But the fact that they alluded to the point that they've already been on a date and there was already
Right.
something there.
These two people from completely different worlds that would hate each other, like all of a sudden they hook up at the end. It's like,
Hey man, when there's danger, you can hook up with anybody.
That's true.
do we know that for a fact?
Well, there's no hookup on Walking Dead, but Game of Thrones is a lot of danger, right? And they're always showing their tits. I don't know.
I wouldn't say it's the best, but
I like Jurassic World. It's worth seeing. I think I saw it in the theater, and that's why I liked it
Let me
even
ask you a
more.
question. You would put this on Movie of the Year, though?
No,
Oh,
no, no, no. Mad
Oh.
Max is my movie of the year
Oh
right
no,
now.
but would it make the top 10 of this year?
Yes.
Easily,
And
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
sad.
I think so,
Yeah,
yeah.
because
because
I
there's been a lot
really
of
didn't
shit
see many
movies, you know?
movies this year, so it would be my
They're
top
really,
five.
if you can't think of anything else to top Jurassic World, I mean, it's got to be in top 10.
Well, that
Yeah.
doesn't really knock Jurassic World. It
going
knocks
for it.
everything else that came
Well,
out.
yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah,
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 so-
yeah.
yeah.
Bobby, it's okay. It's all right.
I just said
What was
this.
your favorite movie of the year?
I don't watch movies.
I'm just saying, the bar was so lowered with Lost World and 3 that it, like, kind of with Star Wars at this point, it doesn't have to be fantastic, but it just has to be better than the prequels. to
Yeah,
be
it's
good.
true. Yeah, at
Yeah.
this point.
Anything that doesn't have Jar
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 Jar.
in it will make it a win.
Honestly, and this is why it kind of broke me up inside, because everyone said, oh, you gotta see Jurassic World. It's great. If you love Jurassic Park, you're gonna love Jurassic World.
Yeah, why didn't you?
So, no, here's the thing. So my wife and I, we finally got the kids to sleep. Everything was perfect. We had like popcorn. We're like, got the wine. I'm drinking beer. We're like, okay, here we go. Go order on pay-per-view or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not as good as the first. Yeah, I know. I know it's not. All right, let's get to it. Yeah, okay. Yep, no, it's over. Okay, good. Phew.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, it's-
I'm sorry. I'm an asshole. Especially when it comes down to Jurassic anything.
yeah.
Fair enough.
Jurassic Park, the
That's-
Sega
You know
game.
what? You know what?
That
You
was
know what was
great.
probably a better movie?
What?
Did they come out with Sharknado 3 yet?
No.
No,
come
Sharknado
on.
3 was this year.
Yeah,
Yes,
well,
it was. And was it better than
Sharknado
Jurassic
2?
World?
No. It was better than Sharknado 2, though. No, Sharknado 2 was way better.
In the realm,
Sharknado
in the
3
realm of
was-
the purposely shitty sci-fi movies, yeah, Sharknado 3 is the Titanic of the sci-fi movies. But I wouldn't even put Jurassic World in the
was like a
shitty.
really expensive sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
Like sci-fi channel movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right,
Totally.
we
It was
gotta move away from this.
I will defend Ultron.
Okay, that was your favorite movie of the year? What do you think?
I mean, everyone's going to say Mad Max. I liked Mad Max.
Yeah.
I did.
Mad Max is, yeah.
I still think about it. It's great, but I'm going to defend Ultron a little bit because I think about the movie, for me personally, movie of the year is the one that your mind continually goes back to. And I'm so deep in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I love the intricate stuff. I love going back to see that movie and catch the stuff I missed.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are things about it I don't like. I don't like Quicksilver. I don't like Scarlet Witch. I thought the actors were miscast. Their accents seemed so fake to me.
Fair
But
enough, yeah.
Ultron, the one-liners coming out of James Spader are fantastic.
I'm so tired. I'm so tired of Marvel's quips, man. Honestly, I'm just sick of them. It's just like, yeah, we get it. Okay, just move on past and
You gotta have the
work on a
quips.
story.
I think Batman and Superman are gonna have some quips.
they're gonna have some quips,
They're
but they
gonna be
actually have a
quipping.
story in there.
They're gonna
so
be quipping.
it's-
There's gonna be a lot of quips.
Even the
the
trailer
best,
had quips.
the best part
It's
of
gonna
Age
be
of
too much
Ultron
of a story.
was the farm scene, because it made all the heroes human and we related to them, and it was a great emotional scene.
Well,
And
here's
the
the
rest of
question:
the movie
did
was
you
just
watch it on DVD? Did they have new stuff on? I want to know about the stuff that was cut out.
No, I mean I saw it in the theater,
Okay.
but there are some deleted scenes and stuff and extended scenes. But the movie, look, you can't, kind of like with the Star Wars prequels. The point now of the Avengers movies and all the Marvel movies are to get to Thanos.
Yeah.
That's it. So anything you do in the middle of that, you're supposed to not care about, but there are things about it that further the story. It furthered the story of the Infinity Gems. It furthered the tension between Iron Man and Captain America.
And Civil War
It did its
and-
job. It did its job as the middle part.
Yeah. In the middle part, sometimes it's just a stepping stone. It is really it was a stepping stone.
It really
movie.
is.
I
It's
feel
a
like
good
that was not a
stepping
good
stone.
defense of Age of
Yeah,
Ultron.
but then
I don't
when
know,
you
that was
have-
like, I feel like that was more of a reason to hate it.
What about a middle part of The Empire Strikes Back, which is probably the best of the original Star Wars
That's
movies?
true.
Right,
Well, I mean,
exactly.
I think I
Let's
also
go.
feel-
George Lucas did not go into those movies expecting 2 and 3. He made the first one as its
Right,
own, and when it exploded. But when you're handed a movie and say, okay, you have to further the story of these under storylines like the gems and all this stuff in Civil War, I thought for taking everything it was supposed to be and putting it together, it was a fine movie.
Yeah.
And I'm still thinking about it now. So
Well, that's your. I mean, it's all our own opinions.
I agree with him, though.
Yeah.
I don't think it was horrible. I don't think it's as good as it could have been, but I think as a bridging piece,
It was a bridging movie. It really was.
It did enough.
It's like the slow
Like
episode of
I
Game
agree
of
with
Thrones
him.
or
I didn't
Walking
really
Dead.
like the casting
No,
for
A slow episode
Quicksilver
of
or the
Game of
Scarlet
and let's not
Witch.
forget that a few months earlier they were sucking face in Godzilla.
Yeah.
So I'm like, wait, your siblings in a few months. What are you doing?
I know. I forgot about that. They were in Godzilla.
Well, it was like what Dexter, like his sister on the show was his wife in real life.
That's weird.
So, yeah,
Yeah,
that
no,
was
that was
interesting.
always weird.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're gonna. Oh, I'm sorry, Jeremy. What
No,
you say?
I, as far as the writing, there was some scenes in there that just seemed oddly placed, like the whole thing with Thor, going to Mirror as well. That was just like,
Or
was
like
this
when
necessary?
Disney was like, "Hey, let's advertise this next movie that's coming out by ruining your movie right now."
And
Well, they did that with Iron Man 2.
Well,
I
Iron Man
loved
2.
It's
the
better
actor
to
that-
ruin your future movies during a movie than a trailer.
Which
I'll say that.
which we're gonna get into. All right. We're gonna everybody back at the corners.
All right.
We're only
right.
got 5 minutes left.
No. We're gonna go over our time. It's fine. The time's
Oh.
up. We got a couple more questions.
Fuck you, Group 2.
We're almost done.
Go, I'll make it fast. Let's go.
All right, listen. What superhero movie are you guys excited for? And we're going to start with Hutsell. And if you want a refresher, 2016 is crammed like a porn star
What?
of
one?
movies, superhero movies.
Houston 712.
Listen, you have in 2016, you have X-Men, you have Suicide Squad, you have Civil War, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Batman the Killing Joke, Batman vs. Superman, Deadpool, Star Trek Beyond, Doctor Strange, and Rogue One, and there's plenty more that I didn't
X-Men
list.
Apocalypse.
That was the first
Yeah,
one.
that's
Oh,
awesome.
you said that one?
So, what?
A
I
purple
mean, we've already
lips,
seen
you mean.
a lot
A
of these
purple lips.
trailers already. What movie are you excited for in 2016?
Jeez.
I know. You want to think? Anybody
Pirates
know?
of the Caribbean 5 is
Yeah,
his.
there you go.
That's
If
If you were
No.
going to include in the list, I'm the most excited for The Killing Joke.
Well, Killing Joke
Especially
has
if
got to be.
Yeah, I mean,
Kevin
yeah,
Conroy
yeah,
and Mark
I mean,
Hamill, if they're,
I know.
I know.
Yes.
I've never watched
Take
any of
my
the
money.
animated stuff, and I will watch that. I'm very excited.
No,
for that.
that
Their animated
definitely.
movies are actually.
I know.
Amazing.
Because of you, I will watch.
DC
them.
owns the animated movie universe,
Oh,
so
yeah,
I'll give him
absolutely,
that every
yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
no, I think Mark Hamill as the Joker is like, it's iconic. His voice has just become synonymous with that character in the animated
He's
series.
the best Joker of all
Yeah.
time.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, the new guy is just doing his best Hamill impression. I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, he goes, all right, what's the best of Heath Ledger? And then Mark Hamill. Okay.
Yeah.
As far as like big screen movies,
Yeah. What are you guys? Anybody guys excited for anything this year other than that? The Killing Joke is animated.
Batman, Superman. Come on.
Yeah.
It's gonna be huge.
I did actually like the previews from Civil War, and I am very curious to see Suicide Squad.
Yes.
I think
Very
Suicide
excited for
Squad is one of those movies where it could be like DC's Guardians of the Galaxy. You have a bunch of side characters that no one really knows a whole lot about,
Yeah.
with the exception of Harley Quinn.
And the Joker.
And Joker.
And the Joker, but I hear his role isn't going to be.
As prominent.
Yeah.
He's not really part of the squad anymore.
I
just a
feel
prequel
that they
story.
have a lot of more creative control, so I feel like they could really make it something pretty
special,
impressive,
yeah.
or it could be something pretty crappy.
Fair enough. Eric, what are you excited for?
Deadpool, I really hope
Oh,
I have a
God,
good
yeah.
time at that movie. If he doesn't call out Stanley, like if Stanley, I heard he cameos, but if he doesn't go like call him out there in the the fourth wall thing,
Oh,
I'll be
God.
upset.
Do you think he will break the fourth wall?
He has to.
It's
Yeah,
Deadpool.
it's Deadpool.
I'm just asking.
The whole, I mean, did you read the leaked script? The whole script is fourth wall, pretty much.
No, I know.
He's
I
talking
don't
to
want
the
to. I
audience.
don't want to ruin it. I'm very excited for
It's
it.
a leaked script that came out like 2 years ago, so I mean.
So it might be
it's-
different.
It's different.
I'm excited
sure.
for the first superhero movie that's rated R. That's I think
Yeah.
really what I'm
I
very
think
excited
Punisher
Blade
was
was rated
rated
R,
R. So was
wasn't
the
it?
original.
Yes,
Yes.
Those were, but I mean,
Yes.
not in this climate. This
Oh,
yeah,
climate
true.
of
Yeah,
of everything's
you.
got to be connected. Everything's part of a
Well, except for
universe.
Sin City, but yeah.
It's different.
Yeah.
You know,
I got what you mean.
You know, not those because those movies came out by
Sin City,
themselves like an
Watchmen.
island. They're like, well, here's
Well, Sin,
here's
Sin City 2 just came out recently, so.
yeah, that wasn't that good though.
No.
It wasn't that good.
But Eva Green naked, I'm okay with that all day.
Yeah. Fair enough. Anybody else? I'm excited for Civil War, Batman, Suicide Squad, myself. Bob?
You know, I don't really have an opinion on comic books, but I will say Civil War.
Civil
Only
War.
for the reason it's like Civil War. It's the one thing I actually sort of know a little bit about in the comic book world.
Well, you can
because,
probably just throw that out.
yeah.
Because
What about like non-comic book movies? Is there a movie coming out that just strikes your fancy?
No.
what's
Yeah.
the next Adam Sandler
Pirates
one
5.
coming out?
Yeah,
I
that's a
love the
Netflix.
Pirate of the Caribbean.
yeah, that's Netflix.
movies.
See,
Yeah.
Pirates
I love 'em.
4.
There's no Contagion
Lost
coming
the
yeah,
Magic.
out.
There is
Lost the
one, but
Magic.
no, you.
The Hateful
we
Eight's
don't
coming
want.
out.
You don't want to talk.
Yes.
What
Finding
was that?
Dory.
Hateful Eight is coming out.
Finding Dory.
New
Yeah.
Quentin Tarantino.
All right.
That's a
Finding Dory.
come on.
Hateful Eight comes out this Christmas. So,
No, I thought it comes out in January now. I
What
thought they
is
pushed it back.
Hateful Eight?
Quentin
I was
Tarantino's
on
new
this.
movie.
I thought they pushed it back
so.
because of Star Wars.
Really?
Yeah.
Smart move.
Yeah, it's a smart move.
Seriously.
So listen, we're going to go into this real quick. Batman vs Superman trailer just hit. When you listen to this, it just hit a couple weeks ago. But in our time,
Yeah.
I'm messing with the time continuum right now.
We're in a
It
TARDIS.
came out last night.
Yep.
We all saw it. People have already got the memes. They like it. They dislike it. They like it, but they hate this. What were you guys' thoughts about? I guess for me, I liked it. I watched like 5 times in a row. What do you guys think about Lex Luthor?
Well,
Where the
before,
direction
I think before we even jump on
No?
Lex Luthor
He
right now.
reminds me of Jim Carrey playing the Riddler. Just
You know
over the
what?
top, ridiculous.
yeah.
He's not doing it for
I
me.
think
Isn't
what
he-
they
is he
did.
Check out the grip on this one.
Is he his son though? I
No,
He
thought
does
that
go
Lex
bald
No,
at some
well-
point. He was on a magazine cover bald as Lex
Yes.
Luthor.
I
So,
think the
and he
cur-
looked pissed off. So I think once he loses his hair,
Yeah.
he'll drop the
I think
goofiness.
I think it changes. But what I think DC just did was kind of stick it to everybody that's like, oh, this is too dark and too serious all the time. So what DC just put out essentially was a Marvel trailer. Honestly, I mean, like it was full of jokes.
Yeah.
It had like a lot of action, like most Marvel trailers. I mean, it was just I think they took parts of Lex Luthor's speeches and stuff where he is acting like a bit quirky, and I think it's just an act. And I think he's like really behind the scenes as a dark, evil dude.
Well, wasn't there a thing we heard about where he plays Lex?
Well, there's a rumor. There's a rumor.
Is that true?
There's a rumor saying that he plays that Jesse Eisenberg is actually Lex Luthor's son.
Yeah. So.
Well, his dad is Lex Luthor. He is a junior, no matter what. But they're
LJ.
saying
No,
that.
his dad's
Little
lying.
LJ.
His dad's
Yeah.
lying.
Well,
Shoot.
yeah.
Yeah.
In this iteration,
I
he's
get
he's a junior,
Okay.
so his dad's name is this. So they're saying that he might not actually be the Lex Luthor.
But that's a rumor.
It's a rumor.
theory.
It's a rumor.
The
But
real
it's-
Lex Luthor will be Bryan.
He's
Cranston.
actually Jason Todd.
Yeah.
That's
Real
what it
Lex
is.
Luthor, please stand.
Bryan Cranston's Lex Luthor. I remember that was a big rumor, and
Yeah.
I got behind that. I was like,
Yeah,
yes.
they should.
I don't know, man, because my thing with Lex Luthor is really obsessed with himself, his looks, his muscles, like
He's
his
very narcissistic.
very narcissistic, and Jesse Eisenberg
wants to
doesn't
be
come
Superman.
off as
That's what I'm saying. He
narcissistic,
comes
he comes
off
off
as
as-
being like more like.
the nerd that got picked on too much, you know?
Yeah, and he's a little windy.
He looks like
Yeah.
he's like the Riddler. I think whoever said that got it down. Stat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
What do you guys think? The big conversation today has been: did this trailer give too much?
it blew its load.
Did it blow its?
I
load?
don't
And it
think-
didn't need to.
I don't think it did.
That's what kind of gets to me is that the title of Lone, Batman versus Superman, or V, you didn't have to show a trailer. People would have paid money to see that.
Yeah,
And that's what the trailer should have been about, is the fight.
I kind of agree.
But I
with
think-
And it ended the trailer
with them.
I think
not fighting.
Yeah.
And then Doomsday, it's
No, I agree with that because
And I think-
that was the build-up. Like we all know they're going to be friends in the end. Everybody
Right,
should know
right.
that. But I mean,
Yeah.
the build-up, the trailer, because when we saw that 2 seconds of footage,
Yeah, yeah.
which they still haven't showed, is them charging at each other,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden they give us Doomsday, and then all of a sudden the three of them are like, "That's our enemy."
Well,
yeah,
no, honestly,
I mean, that
I
might be
think
too much, but
I think what they shouldn't have done is showed Doomsday in full. They should have like kind of just maybe see him jump off the building,
Yeah.
and then just end that right there. They don't actually don't show him up close.
yeah.
But at the same point, like, I think a lot of people were complaining, like, well, why is Batman a bad guy now, or why is Superman a bad guy now?
because people don't read comics and they have no idea.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I think they just made
What
a
is that
trailer
guy
that
doing
appeals
over
to like a larger audience. You
Is there a
know,
burglar in
so I think that's why they did that. Did it give too much away? I don't think so, because you still have Aquaman in the movie. You still have a glimpse of Flash. You still have a glimpse of Cyborg in the movie.
It's going to be so much.
You
That's
have
my
it-
issue with the movie, though, is that they're the reason, like Green Lantern, for example, there was just so much exposition and things to explain and to catch people up on who don't know Green Lantern.
Yeah.
And that's what turned off a lot of people.
Yeah.
And that, hey, look, I'm sorry, Marvel has slowly added things in, not thrown too much at people, and then had the payoffs. Where this one, their DC seems to play catch up with their universe.
Well, you can't
I
really.
mean,
I mean, you can't really say that having not seen the movie at all, though. You know, it's just.
We're
Even
just going by
annou-
trailers.
even
Just
trailers and
yeah.
announced, there just seems to be a lot into this movie, and I just fear that people. I want it to succeed. I want DC's universe to be good. Batman is my favorite superhero, my fear is that people are just going to walk away from this. There's too much.
Age of Ultron, I think, suffered from that.
Then
For me, there was a little too much. You gave us Ultron and you gave us Vision, and Vision was never in it. He was barely in it. It was just. I felt when a superhero movie comes out and there's too many characters, something suffers. We know
DC and WB should have learned from
cooks?
Terminator Genesis. The twist of that movie is that John Connor was a cyborg, and that was the promotional
Spoiler.
material. Spoiler.
But that was in the trailer.
It's in the trailer and on the poster.
Yeah, they
and it ruined
it.
the movie.
Yeah.
This, if anything, I don't even think Doomsday should have been a part of this. They are planning a Man of Steel sequel,
Yeah.
and I think that should have been better for Doomsday.
Well, I mean,
and
don't forget they're taking a more realistic approach, so there's still a possibility that Doomsday just isn't as evolved as he normally is. Superman beats him, and then he can come
you can
back
only take
and,
so far with realism with these, but I
Well,
just,
right.
Look, I want DC to do good, but I do feel they're just throwing, even with Suicide Squad, I think it's going to be good, but their idea of like, we have to have all these heroes out at first, all these villains to kind of catch people up, and I think they're going to fall flat. And I want them to be better with it, and I want them to take their universe slowly, because let's face it, WB could have done this back in the 90s. They've already had Superman movies, they had Batman movies, they could have made a Batman and Superman movie, they didn't. And then when Marvel came up and started making the connected universe, they had to play catch up. And that's their own fault.
I don't think they're playing catch up though. I think they're just. This movie's been in production for 3 years, so it's like if they were playing catch up, this movie would have been out
But
a
I
year
kind
and
of
a half
feel like,
ago.
in not catch up, but they're like, I feel like they kept adding these characters. They're kind of, DC's like, they're promoting all these characters, but we haven't seen anything yet.
And Man of
But
Steel,
we haven't seen the movie, so we can't say anything.
Well,
But I'm just saying,
Man-
like they're saying, there's too many characters, too many hands.
Man
in
of
the
Steel
pot.
like seemed to do a job where it just wanted to be a Superman movie, but they just did so little to, and that like, oh, there's a Wayne Tech satellite. Like they should have done more in that movie to prepare you for
Well,
the
they had like
universe.
Lex Luthor, they had Booster Gold.
And now in this
Easter
one,
eggs in there,
now they're
so.
just giving you a lot. And I just fear audiences are going to be turned off by that. I know the comic guys were loving it, but they're just giving too much. Let's say if WB edited the first Avengers movie, Thanos would have been shown in the trailer.
Yeah.
That would have been your...
Yeah, that's
You know?
true. I think Doomsday should have stayed for the movie, but I still think the trailer was awesome. Were you gonna say,
I
Wally?
was going to say it's a funny balance because the Civil War trailer dropped.
Yes.
And I feel that they didn't show enough. I agree that Batman Superman gave, I think,
Too much.
a little too much, but I loved it because it's all my characters.
Yeah.
But the Civil War trailer, it's like, wow, there's 6 people going to war. Wow, that's really interesting. Like
Yeah,
there was
they-
more characters in
They
Avengers.
didn't show you Spider-Man. They didn't show you Ant-Man. He's he's in the movie. And
Well,
they-
it was
the trailer
fine
is
with them not
supposed to-
showing all of them, but like I feel like the story there, like you kind of led to believe that they're fighting over Bucky. It's like a whole story about them just having a war
As
over
of right
Bucky.
now, that's what we think.
Either way,
Yeah.
they've been teasing an Iron Man Captain America fight since Avengers 1.
That's true.
And I
Hutsell,
want to see.
Stop talking.
Yeah, what do you have to? Come on.
Well, I did like the DC trailer, but I do kind of feel like maybe they definitely spoiled a little too much. I think the trailer for Civil War, I think that probably had just the right amount. I do kind of wonder though, I mean, is it really going to be like it was with the comics where they're actually fighting against this imperative, or is it just a big fight to keep Bucky out of jail? That was my one gripe with the trailer is it seems a little misleading as to what it's.
In the
actually
trailer,
trying to
there's
accomplish.
actually you see a packet of papers that
Well,
says like
yes,
the
and
Moldovia.
that is
Yeah.
the big
thing,
talking
you know,
point
like-
there,
Yeah.
the big clue that it
Yeah.
could be something much grander than just hey, I don't want my.
But
buddy
I
to
don't
go
feel
to
like they
jail.
give you that impression with the trailer at all. You just have to you have to look at that and be like, okay, well I guess, yeah, okay.
I think my favorite part of that whole trailer though was when Bucky and Captain America are going toe to toe with Iron Man in the full.
That was a cool
Or
scene.
That
when
was
he
pretty
goes-
awesome. Where they're literally just tag teaming back
Yeah.
and forth with the shield. That was very
The
very
line
awesome.
that I think there was missing, like that in most trailers you get that one line that sticks with you, and the line with Captain America, like it's my friend. Iron Man, like I thought I was your friend.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
I
I
thought
like
the new
that.
Batman Superman trailer was just missing. I thought the line about I'm used to pointing out the Daily Planet, like the hypocrisy.
Yeah.
I thought that was a good exposition there, but that it was just missing that good line that like, do you bleed?
Yeah.
you will. It was just
That
missing
was
that
a
big.
yeah, that was a good line from the first
My
trailer.
biggest complaint about that trailer was the one scene, and you don't know where it is, where Batman's like in a basement, he's chained up, and then Superman just drops in, pulls off the cowl, and that's just like, first off, I don't even think that should have been in the trailer because that's huge, you know.
Yeah.
I don't, it's not a scene in actual. I think it's just a vision that Wonder Woman has.
But we
Yeah.
think
Because-
but it's still in the
my
Because
trailer.
his face
because
paint
of all the dark
disappears.
side,
His
all of Darkseid's, what do you call them?
Parademons.
Parademons.
Okay.
Come flying out like in the scene before that, and then you see Batman all chained up. So I think it's like a warning of what is going to happen.
My
in the
biggest
future.
complaint with that whole scene is like, I don't know if it's the characters or the actors playing the characters, but that whole scene, it just seems like there's this emotional disconnect between the two, where it's
But you know
like
what?
you just don't feel the
we
chemistry.
didn't
But
see
you
what
want to go see the
happened
movie to
before
see
and
what
after.
happens, right?
Yeah, if that's someone's vision, they're not going to really have like the emotion.
That's exactly why.
So
you
we
know?
have to
Yeah.
trudge
Yeah.
along here. The final question.
Donald Trump.
Biggest
Trump,
biggest
yeah.
story, Bob. We're doing Bob. The biggest story of 2015, sir. We had a lot of crazy stuff. Deflategate, Bill Cosby, Jared Fogle. He had a subway. Went
What
to
happened with
jail.
Bill Cosby?
Confederate flag. Donald Trump. Marvel broke Josh Whedon.
Oh,
We had a CEO raising drug prices on people. I mean, a lot of interesting stuff. What was the biggest story for you? I know we were talking before we did
Well,
the show
I
today.
thought long and hard about this, something that would be sort of positive that happened this year.
Yes, we're not going negative. We're not going in the dark zone.
Well, I think it's safe to say the biggest story might be exactly what our expectations of October 21st, 2015. I think when we went back to the future, we are highly disappointed about.
I'm going to take
We were
this.
made a promise.
Yes.
Hollywood.
Yes.
Yes.
I
Those are
need flying
hoverboards.
cars.
I'm just going to take this
I need
time,
to see the Cubs lose again.
this internet time to
I
just
know. I
say,
really thought for sure. I was like, come on, Cubs, win.
Because it's the one thing, 2015, October 21st, that's every country. So that's easy. I know it's very US-centric, but whatever. We're not the best, and we all know it.
What you say, Eric?
fuck Pepsi.
Fuck.
Fuck Pepsi.
Fuck Pepsi. Yeah.
Fuck Pepsi.
Yeah.
We talking about the
that's
Pepsi Man video game?
No, the Pepsi Perfect.
Oh,
They
So
ran
disappointed.
out. Are they
Yeah,
gonna
I
have
know.
more?
Nate's
Twice.
probably shaking his head because I was disappointed. But how do you fuck that up? Really? Like,
They should have had more.
look, no. One, if you're only going to make 650 one of these, don't have people buy them. Especially on Amazon when there are sniper programs that buy that stuff up. Do a raffle. Have me buy Pepsi, get a code, put it on online. They've been doing this for years.
They should have sold it out like at a store because Fallout 4, they put their new cola out and you could buy it only at Target.
There you go.
And it sold out like in an hour though. There was lines.
Most of their products sold before October 21st, and then when they figured this out, they did the PR thing.
that
Hey,
sucks.
come to our website on this day and you can buy it. Well, guess what? Their website was just a link back to that Amazon link. So if you still had that Amazon link, you were able to get it early once again. And they only made it 650. It was free money for Pepsi. I'm sorry, the cost of this thing was under $10. They were selling it for $20. They should have just taken pre-orders up the ass, made as much money as possible, make as much people happy, and they screwed
It's
it up.
just a bottle because really we don't know what's in that bottle. It'd just be normal Pepsi.
It is. It's
It's
like the
perfect.
Pepsi. It's perfect.
It's Pepsi perfect.
Perfect.
Pepsi
So-
perfect.
either way.
So that was your biggest story. Probably, right? That was the biggest story for
That,
you.
that pissed me off the most.
Yes,
but,
that was.
out of your list of things, I definitely think the one that has gotten the most traction is Donald Trump.
I know.
and it's
It really
still
is
to
Donald
this
Trump.
day,
It really
it's
is.
still just.
But I
It
think
is.
we said the best thing though. His traction. I'm glad he came out this year because his traction's running down. I think by the time people are actually getting serious to vote, he's going to be
He's a distraction.
This is the
at this point.
worst U.S. hangover ever.
Yeah.
This is us spiraling downward just so we can watch some free show.
Yeah.
This monkey is terrible.
But he's sinking in the poll numbers, which is good.
Thank
Yeah, to
I'm
a
glad
guy.
he did it
He's
this
sinking
year.
to a guy who all the news companies for like the first time are going, hey, you're not a douchebag, you're actually a nice guy. And he's like, no, I threw bricks at people, I stabbed people. It's like it's like Twilight Zone politics right now.
yeah.
Donald
Yeah.
Trump and then psychotic Ben Carson, who's actually a nice guy, and he's upset about that.
Yeah,
It's-
and the thing is, anybody, everybody just wanted Donald Trump for the ratings. That's really what it was, because he was getting buku buck
It's
ratings.
always been a popularity contest,
Yeah.
man, for a long time.
Wow, that
I mean, who
convention
was,
was amazing. Just
who was,
watching, just
president?
watching that unfold.
Who was the president in a wheelchair? Forget.
Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
They said if TV was invented back then, FDR would have never been voted in because he's in a wheelchair. I mean, it's a popularity
That's
contest.
fair.
Yeah.
That's fair to
So-
say.
I mean, let's not forget the first televised debate was JFK and Reagan.
Oh, Reagan, and then
And
Nixon was
Nick,
sweating
no,
up
no,
the
it was
sword.
Nixon. It was Nixon,
yeah.
who looked like a werewolf.
He was sweating.
He was, and JFK was this clean-cut guy. I'm
Sweating
sure.
like Josh Eason.
You eat with your eyes, you vote with your eyes. I mean, to be
Yeah.
perfectly honest with you, I love Bernie Sanders, but he looks like he's always late for an appointment. So I don't know if he's going to do well
looks like
because
Mr.
he looks
Magoo.
like
If
he's
Bernie
crazy.
Sanders will do amazingly well for the following reasons. He can sit across in a diner from Killer Mike and actually have a conversation
I agree with you.
about what's going on seriously.
But visually, he looks like he's always running in a windstorm.
if they
So
just-
I'm hoping people put that
Look,
away.
if he
and
gets-
they can vote
You
for him.
want a president
vote
that's
yourself,
running in a
though, sir.
windstorm.
I just want to
Good.
He
promise.
does. His hair is always a
It's
shuffle.
so good. He's the best.
I'll vote for him if there's a promise that at the end of every State of the Union address they play the Curb Your Enthusiasm theme song
Yes.
when he's walking away.
Larry David played him on Saturday Night Live. One of the best casting of all
man.
time.
Come on.
Cocksucker.
Pretty good.
Anybody else on this side of the table? Big stories or?
Nah, he stole mine with
Yeah.
Trump. That was going to
I
be
mean,
me
when
all
you
the
think
way.
20 years from now, 2015
I mean,
is going to be the year of Trump.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I think the big
Yeah.
story this year is everything that's happening, especially all the mass shootings.
Oh,
here
where
in
did
Bryan.
you
Yeah.
go?
But-
Where did you go?
Thank you, Rocky.
But-
Thank you,
But
Rocky.
I'm not gonna try to depress anybody, so we'll just even skip over that.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously that's
Yeah,
the big
putting
thing
a
going on
cookie in
right
this
now.
one.
But
Yeah. I would say the biggest thing was they got the biggest traction was the stupid red cup.
yeah, I was gonna say the red cup is the.
I've never heard such
And you know what, like-
ridiculousness in my life.
This is what cracks me up the most is that Starbucks put out this red cup, but they still had Christmas blend coffee. I actually posted a thing the other day about where's Hanukkah blend. Somebody
Yeah.
corrected me and said it's actually a thing, so I was like, I was calling it a war on Hanukkah, but
It's a war on Hanukkah.
now there's a war on Kwanzaa.
You and millions and millions of other
But-
Germans before you.
Yeah, right. But
Oh my God. Santa
Anyway.
likes. Santa
I,
likes.
still, I
Yeah,
have
yeah.
something.
Good joke.
Yeah.
That'll be
It's
edited
not on
out.
your list.
But no, but what?
The biggest thing this year for me,
Yeah.
this was the year of the trailers. Like the Star Wars trailer
You're
broke
right.
the freaking
yeah,
internet.
yeah. That's,
In
The
football.
Batman Superman trailer came out and the world went nuts
Yeah.
because we're finally seeing them.
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, now we
That's
got,
true.
Then we got two new ones in the last week with Civil War and Batman,
Civil
like
War, yeah.
killing the internet.
The Suicide Squad trailer.
Suicide
like, this was the
Squad.
year of the
There's
trailer.
another Suicide Squad trailer happening with before the end of the month.
No way.
Yeah, they just released information about it today, saying it's going to happen. So they're saying it's going to come out with Star Wars.
Really?
Yeah, which seems weird, but
Ooh, that's
Look,
awesome.
everybody is going to be paying their money to put their trailers before Star Wars.
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
that's
without a
true.
doubt.
I'm sure.
That's true. Speaking of Star Wars, this is the last question I'm going to ask you guys, and we're going to wrap things up. I have a steak bet with Jonathan Francia, who will be on next
heard
week's
about this.
podcast. He'll be on the panel.
Heard
Yeah.
about the steak bet.
Who's in the other room right now?
He will be on the next panel. My steak bet with him. Will Star Wars The Force Awakens beat the worldwide gross of Fast and Furious 7? Fast and Furious 7 did $1,500,000,000. It was 78 days. Now, this is a long con bet. Probably won't know until March. I want to know, are you guys on Team Bryon or Team John? Do you think
I
Star
think
Wars...
why-
it's already beat it
why is
like,
your-
in a projection. So
Wait, why is your plateau Furious 7?
one
I don't
Avatar?
know, because we...
1
Avatar.
billion?
No, I think we did Furious 7 for some reason. I don't know why.
Okay.
Because
well,
we think the Avatar probably, that's a tough one.
Avatar beat
Well,
Furious 7?
Avatar-
well, Avatar is the #1 movie of all time.
I thought
Right.
Titanic.
Right.
Yeah,
But
Avatar
that's
beats
between
Titanic
that-
a little bit.
Consult the
well, yeah,
internet.
between that and like in home sales.
Does anyone
So
want
I
to have a
think
bet right now?
we're just going with the movies that come out this year.
It will. Let's just say this: Furious 7. The franchise is good. It's got its fan base. Definitely this one around the Paul Walker incident.
yeah.
A lot of people went out to go see it, but Star Wars has not only the hype, it has the multi-generational hype. Target devoted 7 aisles to Star Wars merchandise.
Yeah.
Did they do that for Furious 7? Star Wars is a religion. It will be.
I wish there was a Vin
Furious
Diesel
7.
figure. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Avatar of all time. number 1. Titanic 2, Jurassic World 3.
And what's for your 7?
The Avengers 4. What?
Is for your 7 on that list?
No, I just
It
top
should
4
be.
right
I
now.
think
Hold
it's
on
like
one
the
second.
top 10.
I think it's in the top 10.
Well,
Yeah.
let's see.
Well, anyway, you think it will beat it?
I think it'll beat
Yeah, I
all the
think so.
records ever.
Yeah.
Unless
It's killing it. It's
If
gonna
you
be
count
an
the
IMAX.
merchandise
It's
in there
total
too, then
gross, though. And
Let's
we
not
won't find
forget,
much.
it's in all IMAX theaters privately for
I
a
know,
month.
for a
It's-
month.
don't let me depress everyone.
Wait.
But what if something happens at Star Wars, like what happened with The Dark Knight Rises? If there's I think The Dark Knight Rises would have been huger if not for that psycho that shot people.
I know.
And
I
what if
think
that
about
happens
that.
at Star Wars?
Yeah.
You know what I
You
mean?
know-
It could very
not-
well alter
I know
things.
security is
Why
going
you
to
gotta
be
be so
raised. They're
negative,
gonna-
man?
I'm just saying.
No, that makes a good point. It makes a good
My
point.
money's on
Furious
Star Wars,
7
but
is $350 million.
huh? I don't know what your list is.
Yeah, maybe you're looking at opening
That's
weekends
off,
or
yeah.
something.
For what?
I'll
Yeah,
check
maybe
box office
7
USA.
It made
The
over
total
$1 billion.
gross
Oh yeah,
Over a
yeah.
billion.
Wow.
is $1,500 million.
Yeah,
Star Wars
worldwide.
will beat
a
that.
little over that.
And
Star
this
Wars
is
is
it.
a
If
monster.
Star Wars,
Star Wars
Force
already
Awakens,
projected to beat it, so
I know it's
saw
projected. Hear that, John? I'm
Look,
coming for you.
if Force
The bet
Awakens
is on.
doesn't beat
Steak,
Avatar,
bet,
nothing
steak,
else will.
bet, steak,
Steak
bet.
bet. I got my steak picked up. All right, guys, thank you. Give yourself a round of applause. It's a good panel.
We're the best! We're
Mark,
the best!
Beat that!
Beat
Take
that!
that.
Ha!
All right, so next week, Mark's going to be hosting a panel. He's going to have Matt Ryan, JR, and Nate Ferreira, John Francia, and Bob Kegler is going to be on again.
What?
Madman.
What is this?
We have to thank you to Free Lunch Studios. Check them
Double
out,
keg.
freelunchcomics.com. And happy holidays, happy Kwanzaa, Merry Christmas. Hanukkah. Happy Hanukkah. Hanukkah already happened, actually.
Oh.
Hanukkah happened.
L'chaim.
Oh, hi.
L'chaim.
All right,
Dreidel.
we're out of here.
Adios.
Good night. Good job,
fuck you,
guys.
San Diego.
Really good job.
Fuck you, San Diego!
We went. Wow. 20 minutes over. That's not bad.
Yeah!
It's not good if you're trying to follow up.
Now,